When I was a kid, I read a book about the world coming to an end. I remember being so scared I didn't dare go to sleep. And in the morning, the sun came out and everything looked so wonderful, I forgot the story. Life was beautiful all over again.
Everybody, listen carefully. The Martians are coming this way. We must evacuate the city. Take food and water and extra clothing with you.
You are no longer in control of your listening device.
Can't you see that you're at the mercy of every element of the universe?
Rick and Ryan will take you on a science fiction cinematic journey into the post-atomic space age.
I'm not going to cooperate with these monsters.
We found a flying saucer. Just a minute, ladies and gentlemen. I think something is happening.
A chronological deep dive into the past.
Holy cow.
Put on your magnetic boots.
Let's go.
And strap yourselves in for your ride with...
The Unidentified Flying Podcast.
Yes! Here we are, folks, at the end of 1951. This is Rick on the Lex Proteus 4 with Ryan, and this is the...
Hey.
Huh?
Hey.
Hey. And this is the Unidentified Flying Podcast.
Yep.
And we are at the end
We are.
of,
This is
part,
the last...
of part of a mission. No,
Well, this
of
is the
part of a
last
mission.
movie of 1951. It's been a journey here, so we're going to wrap things up for this year, and then we're going to warp on into the next year, 1952. And all I have to say is that the movie we're talking about tonight, or today, or whenever you happen to be listening, is apropos because this being the end of the year, we're going to celebrate in major big studio form the end of the world.
Yes!
Yes, we've got it, folks. Our first official disaster movie of the decade.
Apocalyptic disaster.
Yeah, real deal disaster movie. Not like, I know we did five, but see, to me, and this is an important distinction.
Yeah.
I think we should make.
Yeah.
Is that, yes, technically movies like On the Beach or The Road or the one we just mentioned, didn't we just mention? Five. Those movies are what I would call after the disaster movies. Fair enough? I think a disaster movie has to show us the disaster and be about the disaster.
We're in agreement. The way I would have phrased it was that the disaster, the set piece of the disaster, has to be a character of the movie.
Yeah. So when you get a movie like Five, it's post-disaster.
But it's after.
No, because you just get 2
we don't
seconds
see.
Yeah.
Okay, we don't. It's got to be a disaster that we live through vicariously through the character's point of view.
Exactly.
There you go.
So that's why this qualifies as an actual disaster film.
It is the first, really.
Yeah, well, it's not the first disaster film ever made.
No.
Nor is it the first disaster story. I would say this is the first modern disaster film. Like, where it set the template of multi-character stories, scale of disaster, and eventual now or never resolution. It kind of set that template. Because there are going to be a few more movies you could qualify as disaster films in the 50s. Godzilla being one, 20 Million Miles to Earth being one, Target Earth being one, because those are like invasion movies, but they show you the disaster of the invasion. The difference with this one is this is the first time it's a disaster that's just it's nature doing it.
An act of God or whatever.
Yeah, it isn't. It's like, movies like Earthquake or Dante's Peak, those kind of movies are which is kind of what makes them actual science fiction, is that they deal with some geological or astronomical thing that could conceivably happen in nature, and humans have to deal with it.
An extinction level event.
Yeah. Now, when you throw in aliens or something, or like Godzilla, yeah, those are disaster films, but those are kind of more about the monster, and it's an outside factor. So that's, I think, what was set here with this one was that, you know, even though it's not the first disaster movie of its type, it, you know, big color spectacle and advanced special effects.
When worlds collide. Written in the stars is a message of doom for this, our world. And now in the most shattering experience the screen has ever given you, Paramount tells what could happen within your lifetime when worlds collide. An astronomer checks and double-checks his horrifying discovery. A distant star racing through space toward an inevitable collision with this planet. The United Nations meet in emergency session. All conflicts pale before this threat from another world.
If you wait until the danger is visible to the naked eye, it will be too late to escape.
High on a mountaintop, an army of scientists work desperately to build this giant rocket, this modern Noah's Ark, to carry a few picked survivors of our doomed civilization to a new life on another world, reaching the heights of self-sacrifice, the depths of the animal lust for survival as they fight to be among the few who can be saved.
Let's take the ship away from them! Come on!
Fighting among themselves, fighting against time, as doomsday is upon them.
I think all you scientists are crackpots.
Nothing is going to happen.
When worlds collide, you'll see the most amazing, awe-inspiring scenes ever put on film. The forces of nature unleashed in all their terrifying force. Tremendous tidal waves smashing New York City. The molten fires from the bowels of the earth gushing out to consume our world.
I happen to find that these movies, like, I'm willing to suspend a lot of disbelief. I'm willing to, really commit to removing my brain and just enjoying the spectacle. I'm all about it. And to the point now where I, like this past year, 2 years, I've tried to get caught up on the disaster movies I've never seen. Like, had never seen Poseidon Adventure, Towering Inferno.
Oh, I love Poseidon Adventure.
So I started watching some of them, and then I was like,
so good.
I'm kind of curious about some of these modern ones I missed. And so one night I popped in San Andreas with The Rock, or Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah.
I had a fucking blast. Like, I don't care. Like, it was just...
And that's like the newer. Yeah.
The thing to me, and I know there are people that will argue with me on this, but to me, there was no difference between it in terms of story beats, spectacle versus character, melodrama, than there was in Towering Inferno. There's no difference. Now, people will argue, and I think that will come down to just, obviously, a certain generation's going to like the actors. I mean,
exactly.
You get Paul Newman, you get fucking Steve McQueen, you get all these big names.
Jimmy Stewart.
Do you prefer them to The Rock and Paul Giamatti? Like, that's just who you're going to have now, which is fine. So don't judge it, but, well, that's new, and they don't have the same class as those old actors. Like, just forget all that, and just, there's not much difference in the DNA strands of these movies throughout the years.
I'll bring this up now just because, we'll go into more of how When Worlds Collide is related to Deep Impact, but I watched Deep Impact recently, and you're absolutely right, because, like, even me watching, because I've watched When Worlds Collide a lot lately, so, and then going to Deep Impact, it was very, like, well, I mean, it's not all that discernible, except for, like, because in the 90s, the schmaltz end of this type of story is just as schmaltzy as how they would have been in the 50s.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And it's kind of the charm, and I'll admit, Like, I almost got emotional at the end with Robert Duvall flying the ship into the fucking meteor, and I don't care about the guy and his kids and all that stuff, but I almost got into it at the end and got, like, I felt that warmth whoosh. I did not produce tears. No tears.
All right.
Okay? But an awkward breath might have made me speaking go, you know, like I might have did, you know, something. But, like, I might have broke. But no. It was kind of like, this is so, like, cheesy, but yet, you know, there's something about these stories, I think, and it resonates, of course, not to get so real world with it, but I mean, of course, it's, you know, watching documentaries on 9/11 and real disasters, we all imagine ourselves, what will we do in that situation? And maybe that's what movies are supposed to do. They're supposed to lie to us into complacency, like, and just, you know, make me believe that I have a little bit of chance of getting out of a building on fire or a sinking ship because I saw Darren McGavin and Jack Lemmon team up together and rescued people in a sinking airplane. You know,
that's the whole point.
It gives me hope. That's, you know, it's
that's
like
the whole point of these escapist entertainment, is to help you, to let you live vicariously through circumstances that in real life you know you would fucking die. So,
yes.
Like, there's no way any of us would be as you know, triumphant, and because everybody else says, "Oh man, I can't wait till I have to survive the apocalypse." I'm like, dude,
yeah. It's the zombie thing. It's like, yeah, I could survive it all if I. But then I think about the real. I can't even jog down the street to get my mail, or you know what I mean. I'm
and
dead.
You're talking about if it happens to you in the perfect circumstances.
Yeah, where I have a bunch of guns that I don't collect. Now,
it's like,
but I have them. And I'm sequestered in a high area that I don't live in now, but I hope I do. You know, like, but none of it's gonna be what happens. You know?
Yeah. It's so silly because that's the reason they make movies about specific groups of people that, and if you look at all those, it's always lucky that they even lived it all and wound up in that place.
Yeah.
In order to continue on. So don't think the second you get that news alert on your phone that the end is now, that you're going to suddenly become Charlton Heston and Omega Man. Like,
oh my God,
chances are you're not. Okay, you're just not going to survive it. So just accept it and move on.
Look for the nearest zombie and lay down.
Yeah, I mean, survive as long as you can, but
yeah, no, I'm saying I'm trying. Shit.
Yeah, of course.
That.
But a lot of it would come down to luck.
Yeah, of course.
All right, so a little before we get to tonight, before we get to now's movie, we're going to do a brief little history of disaster films because, like I said, this is not the first, and so what we're going to do is establish right here and now what the granddaddy of all disaster stories is, and I'm sure you know this one. Like, this is pretty much...
Can I guess?
Yeah, where it all began.
I would say, because I thought about this, and especially because of Deep Impact, and I thought about it, and it's like, and this thought did occur to me, so I hope I'm right. It did occur to me, and it hadn't before, that I thought, you know, all these movies all come down to that they're all Noah's Ark.
Exactly.
Yep. That was it.
Noah's Ark is what it would be called under the Judeo-Christian tradition. However, the reason this can be considered a wider-ranging story is that most, or I don't want to say most because I don't know the exact number, but let's say a lot, and I mean a lot, of religious traditions share a flood story. Okay, now in some stories it's an ark made of wood. In some stories it's a raft. In other stories it's the back of a giant turtle. Some folks turn that into a religious story. Some just call it myths. So they're all myths. based on something that probably did happen at some point in our prehistory. There was probably a massive flooding event, and our ancestors wrote stories about it. Those stories became myths. The myths, in some cases, became...
Those myths became truths.
Blah, blah, blah. So,
yep.
Now, having said that, throughout history, there have been great stories of calamities and disasters and all that. Plays, poems, short stories. We're not going to get into them all. So let's move on to movies. Taking a quick look at the history of the disaster film, it's believed that the earliest one was called Fire, with an exclamation point, made in 1901. And it portrayed a burning house and the firemen who arrived to quench the flames and rescued the inhabitants. So I imagine it was only a couple minutes long, but technically what most consider the first disaster film. Now, throughout the silent era, we did have several. We had one about the Titanic. We had one about Atlantis. We actually had one called The End of the World, a Danish film that came out in 1916 that I actually watched this afternoon in preparation for this episode.
Oh.
Because it's a film that deals with a comet that is on its way to collide with Earth. And this being 1916, they don't really have any... But in the comet's small enough that like it's only going to affect Europe. So anyway, we do get an actual build up to the disaster. We have multiple character storylines, and then we get to see the disaster itself. I kind of recommend it just as a historical artifact. It depends on your tolerance for silent films, but I happen to like them, and this one is well done. The effects are really good for the time. The only thing that brings it down is a little too much melodrama. But what else are you gonna do? So I watched that one this afternoon because I thought, well, that kind of sounds like When Worlds Collide, so I should check that out. Now, there was a version of Noah's Ark made in 1928, and then there was a one about tidal waves devastating New York, released in 1933, called Deluge. Then, of course, we get King Kong.
Yeah.
The first monster disaster film, because it does show us the disaster.
Yeah.
And then in 1935, there was The Last Days of Pompeii. So it goes on from there until we get to the Atomic Age, the 1950s, and that is where we are here. So just a little...
You have arrived.
Catching you up on the history of this
You have arrived at the precipice of...
Precipice, Rick.
Precipice of the year.
What? Yeah,
I don't
right.
know.
So there we
you're
go.
Here. You've arrived.
So tonight's film, When Worlds Collide, released by Paramount Studios. This is a big studio film, Rick. We haven't had a whole lot of those.
No.
Kind of exciting, just because, at least in the 50s, when they did spend a lot of money on these, it usually pays off.
They knew how to do it.
Yeah, so I'm not going to, everybody, studio filmmaking. Well, they kind of,
yeah,
they were all right back then.
They're still good, yeah.
It was released on September 14th, 1951 in the UK, and then later it was released on the 15th of November in the USA wide release.
Dang, we had to wait a whole month.
Well, a couple months. But it did play at some
couple months.
Limited release in like New York and somewhere else briefly, and then it went wide in November 15th. So this was kind of the holiday blockbuster, I guess, because seemed like a summer film to me, but I don't know what release criteria and philosophies were back in the 50s as far as big spectacle goes. But as I said, this is our first disaster movie, and who do we have to thank for that? Well, producer George Powell, who we met several episodes ago with Destination Moon.
I'm very fond of him.
I'm very fond of him. He's fond of him, folks.
I am.
We also have director Rudolph Mattei, and I'm going to talk in length about director Mate later, because he's kind of an interesting dude and has some interesting credits. Well, actually, I don't know if he's an interesting dude, but he has some very interesting credits, and he is a dude. So,
a cinematography dude.
No, the director, Rudolph Mate.
I thought he was also a cinematographer.
Later. So it was written, the screenplay was written by Sidney Boehm, who carved out a decent career as a screenwriter, mostly B movies, crime films, etc., etc. I slipped into Herzog there for a minute. And now it was based on a book called, what do you think the book was called, Rick?
Jaws.
It was called When Worlds Collide.
When Worlds Collide. I knew that.
It was actually, it was written by Edward Ballmer and Philip Wiley, and it was first serialized in Blue Book magazine. Blue Book magazine ran from 1905 to 1975, and it was a book. It was a short story book. Okay, so two of the most famous writers to come out of there, FYI, are Agatha Christie and Edgar Rice Burroughs.
Never heard of them.
Robert Heinlein was also in here. So this was a pretty big deal to be in this, and this is where the story first appeared in Blue Book magazine. It was called When Worlds Collide. They also did write a sequel called After Worlds Collide that was at one point going to be made into a sequel film, but that never happened. But there is a book for it, so if you're curious, check it out. I might someday, because I kind of want to know what they're doing on that weird Valentine card planet they land on in the end. So anyway,
we'll get there. We'll get there.
It's great. So just let you know that's the source material for this, and we're going to blubba chippa chirpa chirpa while we chirpa. And moving on to editor, we have Arthur P. Schmidt. Arthur P. Schmidt has a pretty fabulous editing resume, Rick.
Yeah.
Have you heard of Sunset Boulevard? Have you heard of Some Like It Hot? Have you heard of Ace in the Hole? Okay.
I have. So he was a Billy Wilder guy, huh?
He also did The Blue Dahlia with Alan Ladd and Veronica Lake. So some pretty solid credentials there for an editor.
Actually, very true. Yeah.
Yeah. We also have music composed by Leith Stevens. Leith Stevens did a lot of great scores. I know he did one of your favorites of all time,
it's in there with this War of the Worlds and Destination Move. Destination Move.
Destination Move.
Destination Move. Destination moving on up.
We finally got a piece.
So,
Destination.
But it has the Destination Moon field as well, and it's a hot moment. He's got such urgency to what's going on, so it really is scored well. The way that these kind of movies are eventually. That's just it's the John Williams treatment. It's that kind of scoring, the emotion in the moment. It's cartoon scoring, but it works for these movies. It's just they can't just have carnage and death all the time.
Yeah,
they are the movies that they have to get as most melodramatic, soap opera-ish that they can while they can. Yeah. They only have about 75 minutes to make you give a shit about any of these people before you wipe them out.
Right.
So
right. Just briefly, because I actually do really like the art/set design in this movie. And just to shout out one of the set decoration, art directors of this movie, was a man by the name of Sam Kummer, and he did the art direction, set design, whatever you want to call it, for Vertigo, Rear Window,
nice.
Sunset Boulevard, To Catch a Thief, The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance, The Trouble with Harry, Ace in the Hole, Breakfast at Tiffany's.
He knew what he was doing.
Yeah, so this guy, I'm just telling you, they got some talent on this movie.
Career.
Yeah, this movie actually is pretty packed in terms of talent. And, of course, we have costumes by the great Edith Head, which...
There you go.
If you know anything about
Icing on the
fashion,
cake.
she's an icon. She literally costumed like 460-something movies. Like, if you watch movies from this era, she's pretty much did the costumes for all of them. I think she won like 200 Academy Awards. So,
well, she lived for like 156 years.
Yeah.
And
she's brilliant. She's great.
She got zapped and put into a computer and decided to star in The Incredibles also.
Yeah, that's who she's based on. Yeah, that character in The Incredibles, right? Yeah.
Yep. No,
right,
it's Craig T. Nelson. She played Craig T. Nelson. But yeah.
I'm going to kill you.
I'm actually gonna murder you!
Like, for real. You know what I'm going to do is next time you're out outside the ship doing one of your spacewalks.
My spacewalks that I take?
Yeah. I'm going to fucking come up to you and I'm going to pull your plug out from your breathing apparatus and you're going to fucking explode like fucking Outland.
Yeah, my eyes are going to bug out.
Oh.
I think you're going to do that every day I'm out there anyway, so I guess tomorrow will just be Tuesday.
So let's get into it. Quite simply here, I was a little lazy this week, had some other work to do, so basically what I'm going to do for you this week is cheat, and we're going to pretend that we're at a video store, and I'm reading you the back of the box.
Oh, well, hold on. Let's go. Are we walking? Okay. Wow. They look like there's a lot of people in there. I hope they've got all the copies that we need of the newest hits. What do you think, Ryan?
Yeah, the newest hits.
Hey, how's it going? How's it going? We're renting something.
While Rick looks around at the videos, I'm going to pick up the box for When Worlds Collide.
I'm going to get some caramel corn.
AKA the letterbox plot description. When a group of astronomers calculate a star is on a course to slam into Earth, a few days before, its accompanying planet will first pass. I'm going to start over. When a group of astronomers calculate a star is on a course to slam into Earth, a few days before, its accompanying planet will first pass close enough to the Earth to cause havoc on land and sea. They set about building a rocket so a few selected individuals can escape to this new planet. It's pretty ballsy what they're going to try, man. Because they basically have a star and a planet hurtling towards them, and they are basically going to try and Tom Cruise themselves off of a cliff onto a rapidly moving ball of rock.
Yeah.
Hurtling through space. So in other words, they don't know if this is going to work or not, but it's all they got, so they're going to try it. So, yeah, When Worlds Collide. That's basically all you need to know about the story, because like I said, it does hit most of the disaster beats, and you basically are watching a countdown to doomsday as they assemble this rocket ship and political turmoil, and then they draw numbers to see who gets to go to the new planet and who has to be left behind to die, and then of course people that drew the wrong numbers start revolting and, no, you let us on that ship.
Sound familiar?
Yeah, this is what we got. So
sounds like every one of those movies.
Yeah. So Rick,
yeah,
I've seen this movie a couple times, but not within recent memory. Like, probably not. It's been about 10 years or so.
You didn't watch it before the show?
Yeah, and then I rewatched it for the show.
Oh, okay.
Just yesterday. And,
okay,
a lot of memories came back of when I first saw it. But what about you? What's your history with this movie, and what do you think about it? Like, what I know you said you've seen it a lot, so.
Well, I've seen it a lot lately, because honestly, it was one It was one that I never saw growing up. I don't remember it ever really playing on anything. I remember seeing the video box,
Right. That's where I first saw it, was video rental. I found it on video somewhere. So.
Yeah, and I don't think I ever, committed to watching it. And then I think I watched it, Oh, yeah. I know exactly when. I watched it like 2 years ago because I was actually going to Planet Fitness and working out more, and I was wearing earbuds, and I watched one day walking, and I did the first time I did Earth When Worlds Collide was on my phone while on the treadmill walking with my earbuds in, and I watched the whole movie that way.
Wow.
But I've watched it.
That's an 83-minute workout, folks. That's how long the movie is.
Well, but hey, I walked for 83 minutes, sure. So
it's more than I've ever done.
But then I've watched it a lot lately in preparation for this, and it's only grown on me more and more. And I think it's really, really good. The way we're kind of introduced to the main character. The main character basically is this dude who he gets like someone says, "Hey, I got a friend who needs something delivered. You know how to, pick up something." It's like me if I had to DoorDash something. And so it goes, "Hey, you're DoorDashing, right?" And I'll be like, "Yeah." And they go, "Pick up this envelope and bring it to this address while you're out, will ya?" And this guy's like, kind of like, "Yeah, sure, I'll do the job, extra money, whatever." And it kind of reminded me, not in such a very like brooding way that Miracle Mile did, but it kind of reminded me of this regular guy who's all of a sudden important in this message about the end of the world. He has no idea what he's carrying. So just going into the character from that's our guy that we're kind of like seeing this unfold through. So, and it gets on such a wide scale real quick. And thankfully, once, like, with little, like, apprehension, like, everyone's kind of like, it's unrefutable. It's like, oh shit, you're right. This is going to hit us. No one is denying anything, So it is interesting to see it from his perspective, his character. There's a set of characters. Of course, he's got a love interest. That he actually, because he's involved in this now, he starts to fall in love with, but she's got a boyfriend. So of course there's that angle. Huh? Fiancé.
He's her fiancé.
This is my fiancé. Okay. So of course they strike up. And here's the thing. They're likable characters, and there's good moments with their love triangle that they have. But I will say it is the moments that bog the movie down. But it's still got some entertaining business with the characters, like with the jerk guy who is kind of the oppositional to him, the fiancé, he's actually not that bad a guy,
No, he's a doctor. And
he's a doctor.
And she's like an important scientist.
Yeah.
And so they've kind of already got their ticket to ride. They get to go on this ship. Because what you're talking about, how is this sort of normal guy that was just this delivery guy, but then finds out what he was delivering. He's like, well, shit, what do I do now? So he just kind of hangs around to help. And as he's helping, he falls in love with this woman, but he knows she's gets to go, and he's not needed. Like, there's nothing value. He keeps saying, I have nothing of value to help start this new world.
Look, Stargazer, I don't figure in this new world. For the past couple of months, you and I have been telling recruits that the few who will make the trip will be needed in the new world. Scientists like you, your father, Tony, farmers and mechanics. You have things to offer, but you won't be needing aerial taxi drivers for another 100 years.
Dad promised me that... Dad said we'd need you.
Thanks. Thanks, but Noah would have turned down my application fast.
Dave...
I'm not applying for this trip. Use a little arithmetic. The ship's cargo's limited. Every pound will count. I weigh as much as a couple of lambs, 3 dozen chickens, one healthy farmer.
Yeah, and they really do a good job with him having this crisis about it all, you know?
Yeah, like, he's very dedicated to helping. I mean, he obviously doesn't want to die, but he's also very realistic about whatever they need. Certain types of people up there, like scientists and all this. I'm just a pilot, but of course, eventually, like you said, it does get to the point where it turns out we did need him, you know, and so there's that whole interesting arc because, you know, no, don't fall in love with me, stick with him because I'm dying anyway. You guys need to start your new life on this new planet, but yet I still love her. And
well, like, I didn't hate the whole love plot like normally we could come away from.
Normally I loathe it. And we know
there
it,
was
so.
interesting moments in it. It does, like I said, it's not okay. It's not that it bogs the movie down. It's just there's way more interesting stuff going on besides that. So it's the softer side of the movie, of course, but like there's nice moments like where he finally because it's really I kind of take back what I said about it because it really is the backbone of why he gets to go is out of the kindness of the doctor in a way, you know, who he's against, kind of like that, you know, they're against each other, but
it's kind of Casablanca-ish.
and it's a neat scene where he leaves because he's excited to go tell her because they're both looking at her on a security camera and that's how they have the conversation, and the guy relinquishes and kind of tells him, this is your way to get on, man, and he's being cool with it now, you know, and he turns, and as the guy runs away, he looks at the monitor, and you see him running up to her wherever she is working, and like saying it, mouthing it, and hugging each other. It's just and he just kind of like the guy, the fiance, like, yeah, I did the right thing. You know what I mean? He's like,
it's like I
he's
said,
kind of cool in that moment.
It's
exactly.
Very Humphrey Bogart letting
on
her
a
go
low level. I'm not
on a lower level, but
on
it's
a
that
way low level because Casablanca is amazing. But
no, it's that trope. It's just where
exactly
the decent guy gives it up and stops being selfish because he realizes that's all that he's really being. And
he's played real honestly by this guy Richard Gere, I think Richard Gere. Richard Gere, who had lived all. I mean, he did so much TV. The older he got, he was in the Alternative Factor episode of Star Trek, and he did all the kind of shows. Like the last few things he did was like Firefox. He was in as like one of the older. He's Admiral Curtin.
Oh, I just recently watched that movie too.
And he was in an episode of Automan. So he was still going. He was in American Gigolo. He was known for a lot of bit parts in films and television. Maybe not even bit parts at times, you know, like he's a decent player. That whole part of the movie is good, but what's the most interesting thing and the best interplay of characters in the movie is what's going on with the scientist that is in charge of building basically the mission that they're going to try and escape and land on the planet Zyra, or not? Is it Zyra? It's
I guess we should have mentioned that they do name the approaching star and its planet,
because there's a planet behind its tail, right?
They name the star Bellis, and the planet's name is Zyra, Zyra. So not.
Or Zyra. I can't remember.
Zyra from Planet of the Apes.
No, it's not Zyra. Zyra.
Spells it with a Y. So yeah, that's what it's Bellis and Zyra.
Yeah, and
this movie never lets you forget it because they made a calendar and they keep cutting to that calendar showing how many days we have until. With this guy in the background, it's kind of like MASH. There's this guy on a loudspeaker like, we're still 30 minutes behind, folks.
Yeah.
Hurry
now
up.
Hear this.
And tonight's movie is the John Wayne classic, The Alamo. You're invited for soft drinks.
Like at one point, he almost went, it's a living. But
well, anyway, MASH never took place in space, so we should stop talking about it.
Yeah, exactly. So
when worlds collide.
But the best thing is the best aspect of the film is the relationship between the old scientist who's in charge of this mission and the extremely wealthy, like,
the Elon
Scrooge
Musk
McDuck
guy.
or Elon Musk or you know what I mean? It's like
he's basically a mix of Elon Musk and Scrooge McDuck.
And Scrooge McDuck, yeah.
Personality wise, that's pretty much.
Yeah.
What about this Noah's Ark? Will it get to that new planet? In theory. On the calculation of some engineers, such a flight is possible. Two of your observatory trustees, Marston and Spiro, tell me that you have an equipped campsite, but you need money to finish building the ship.
A great deal of money. Millions.
Amounts don't stagger me. I'm just weighing the percentages. Your word against the word of other astronomers. Wilson, Ottinger, Zenta. I've talked to them. They think you're a crackpot.
I know.
It'll mean liquidating some of my business interests.
It may mean the salvation of a civilization.
Their salvation doesn't interest me. Mine does. I'm no humanitarian like your friends Marston and Spiro. I just don't relish dying. What are the chances of existence on this new planet?
We don't know. We can only hope they're good.
Millions for theories.
The end of the world is no theory to us, Mr. Stanton.
If I thought it was, I wouldn't be here.
I don't care about your salvation. I care about mine.
I care about me lucky I care about me lucky coin.
Yeah. And he's this old.
No,
he's obviously handicapped. He's sitting in a wheelchair through the whole movie, but he is just he's the bastard of this movie. Like,
and he's so good.
He does not care about anybody but himself.
No.
And he basically pays for this ship to get built so that he can go, and he actually at one point, I get to pick the other people. So it's like, you get a weird Hitler vibe off of him, like he wants this master race to go with him that only he gets to pick. So he's obviously
he tries to talk all
start.
tough about it too, like kind of intimidate the scientist, and the scientist is like, no, you're not going to do that.
Yeah.
And he goes, because he goes, I'll give you the money and you build it, but I picked the crew. You know, he's like, he's got this like authoritative swagger. And the cool thing is that the scientist, played by Larry Keating, he just doesn't budge. He's like the man of principle and whatnot. And there's really good dialogue between them. And that, you know, how at first he approached it like, you know, I'll give you the money and I picked the crew, you know, and he wouldn't budge. And then like the next time he's like, well, then I picked he gets frustrated, and then he's like, well, then this. And he's like, no deal. It's not that way.
He keeps trying to haggle with him
your money for your life. Like he whittles him down, and there's this good moment where he just looks at him, because it's quiet for a while, and he starts to, like he's gonna leave, and then he just looks back at him and just goes, I can't refuse. And it was like he gave it, and he goes, he just says, build it, you know. It's like, but like he had to succeed, because there was no way. I mean, he can't win this.
Yeah.
The guy who plays the rich, you know, bastard is John Hoyt, who made an appearance in our other episode where I said he was really good in, was it Lost Continent, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes, I believe
Lost
so.
Continent.
Yeah.
And Ryan, under his breath, said, because I said he's amazing in Earth Versus, and I think you said something like, but he's not in this or something. You made a disparaging remark against John Hoyt. I think it's unfair.
Okay.
Because
I stand by what I said.
I was saying at that time, I think he's very, very good in this movie. Anyway,
he's great in this movie.
We can scratch all that.
No, he's great in this movie.
He's so good in this movie. John Hoyt. He was. We brought him up in previous episode with Lost Continent, and he was also, of course, the original Doctor on Star Trek that was in the pilot. And Dr. Boyce is he's good in that pilot. So he's this might be his best role. He's so memorable in this movie, I think.
Oh, this is I hated him, but he just is very good at it. He's despicable from start to finish, and it's and when you get an act, because it's hard to play that and still be captivating.
Hammy.
No, in order to really ask an audience to watch a despicable character, I think you need an actor who can make them infinitely fascinating to watch.
But we can't help but we can't help but like and respect a intelligent villain.
Yeah.
We just can't. So when we get a good performance like this, because I would say, not that he's like this, because they aren't, it's not like the two performances are alike, but there is a stare or a look of conviction in the eyes, and the way dialogue is said and the way his appearance is, that is not all that unlike how Christoph Waltz was, kind of electrifying right away as a villain, a delicious villain.
Yeah.
If you can hold the ship to this curve, we will be able to meet her orbit and run on a parallel.
The fuel will last much longer with less cargo. Why risk our necks by taking so many people?
You and that chair weigh 186 pounds. That's worth a lot of fuel, Mr. Stanton. Would you like to donate that weight?
No more than you want to donate your life or your daughter's. I paid for finishing this ship. Without me, you would have been wiped out with the rest of the world.
Before you opened your pocketbook, you tried to make this a personal enterprise, a private rocket ship for your own special use. This project was started by real humanitarians, by Marston and Spiro. They gave their money with no strings attached. You're not here under any special license. You're always shouting for facts, not theories. Well, remember these facts. Our chance of reaching the new world is as thin as your chance of ever becoming a humanitarian. If we do make it, will there be a place to land? Will the air be fit to breathe? Will there be water, vegetable life? Men and women here have been praying for God's help and guidance. Not your kind of hypocritical praying, but the kind that comes from deep inside a man.
Because he's also, it's kind of the Cooper syndrome. He's also right a lot of times in the movie about certain things. So it is this struggle against these two intellects with the science, and you can parallel it to a lot of the times we've gone through over the last decades or so, a couple decades, but it's very much this, the good of the many versus the one that's trying to dictate and
the needs of the few.
Exactly. And it's very well done between them. They've got well-written dialogue, and there's a lot of questions raised, because he's right is in a way it still can be looked at political in a way, because he's saying he's got a very different opinion of what's your plan for when things start to go down?
That will put an end to the newspapers calling me a lunatic. Stanton's folly. With time running out on them, they'll wish they had a fleet of Stanton's follies.
No. They admit our calculations on Zyra and Bellis are correct. But they insist our flight is an impossibility. Even in other countries where ships are being built, most scientists say the flight isn't possible.
And you?
I believe as I did before. In theory, it should work.
Always theories. Jigsaw puzzles on paper. Aren't you fellows ever positive?
Only about doomsday.
A representative of the government will warn the people tomorrow. Provisions will be made to evacuate them to mountain locations.
What provisions have you made to protect us when the panic starts?
I haven't thought about it.
I have. I don't deal in theories. I deal in realities. Ferris! Ferris!
Yes, sir?
Bring in those boxes. I brought enough rifles to stop a small army.
There won't be any panic in this camp.
Stop theorizing. Once the havoc is over, every mother's son remaining alive will try to get here and climb aboard our ship.
People are more civilized than that. They know only a handful can make the flight.
You spent too much time with the stars. You don't know anything about living, the law of the jungle, the human jungle. I do. I've spent my life at it. You don't know what your civilized people will do to cling to life. I do, because I know I'd cling if I had to kill to do it. And so will you.
We're the lucky ones, the handful with the chance to reach another world. And we'll use those guns, you'll use them, Doctor, to keep your only chance to stay alive.
And the professor very innocently is like, it's kind of a weak point of the movie because it's unbelievable where he's like, I haven't thought of that. And it's like,
yeah.
What? Really? You haven't thought of that at all?
He's kind of naive for a scientist.
He's naive, but he's got such lofty ideas of how this is making this happening, you know?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, throughout the picture, you know, we're chasing the lead guy with the love interest. We're getting, you know, we're picking up survivors. We're losing crew members here and there through different little happenstance. I mean, it's, you know, and this is also interesting because they give you two suspense moments for a disaster, where sometimes these movies, like the one we'll get more into, but Deep Impact, it was waiting and waiting for the one thing that happened at the end, which it's fine, okay, but this movie smartly breaks that up into two. It gives you a preview of things because,
well, so did Armageddon.
It's like, okay, so you know, we still don't know definitively if this is going to happen, but if it is, it's going to be close enough during this point where it's going to cause this reaction on Earth. And if we don't feel anything, then it's fine. But if we feel something, then the shit's on. You know what I mean? Like in 2 weeks, it's on. You know, so you're waiting for that moment, which is pretty good because it almost doesn't come in. And that jerk is like, he's like, you know, for a hot second, he feels like, what a waste this has all been. It's almost like you brought me out here for the Great Pumpkin. You know, he's just like, what a waste. And then all of a sudden, shit starts to rumble and everyone he just conveys fear because everyone's like, fuck. And then we have a nice set piece of like disaster happening. And then that's when it's like, oh shit, we've got to draw the lottery. We got to do this. So now it's like, they're going to put everyone on a space ark. They only can bring like 100 people.
40.
And, 40, yeah. It's even less. It's 40, yeah.
Yeah, it's 40.
So they do the raffle. You know, we get the standard like, oh, so-and-so gets to go, but the friend doesn't. And it's like, oh my God. You know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But there's a little of that business. But, I mean, when it comes down to it, the coolest thing is that, like, this ship, the effects are pretty cool. Because, like, it's on the giant track.
I think they're delightful.
I
think they're delightful.
At
times it reminded me of Godzilla movies. Because it's a mix of miniatures and matte paintings and stuff.
But the color is very good.
Oh, God, dude, the 1080p.
Yeah, that's what
Blu-ray
I watched.
Is fucking gorgeous for this movie. I was so shocked at how good it looked. I even made note of it.
It's so good.
Because normally I don't really pay that much attention to that, but I was like, God damn, this looks like it was just shot yesterday. Like, so it's worth picking up, folks.
It makes it very accessible for new audiences.
Yeah, worth picking up on Blu-ray. It is available. I've checked.
And so, you know, and we burn a little time with, like, you know, there's while the two guys are still fighting over the girl, they're in a helicopter together, and there's a moment where they see a little boy who's like been abandoned. Because that's the other thing. For 1951, this movie, I mean, yeah, it's tiptoeing around, but if you're reading between the lines, it's kind of pulling no punches. Like, it's showing, like, devastation, and they're finding a kid, and he doesn't have parents anymore. He's trapped on a roof. I mean, you know, but they have this little bit of business where he lands to get him, and he lifts the kid into the helicopter, only for the pilot to do this real long flyaway where
you think he's abandoning.
I guess it's odd. We're kind of we're kind of supposed to be led to believe that he might be abandoning him there, but only to get really far away and turn around and come back, and it almost just eats up a little too much time.
It's a silly scene.
It's a very
really
weird
silly
scene. It's kind of
I don't mind it, but I don't mind the rescuing the kid. I don't mind the rescuing the kid part.
No,
but
it's just not. The timing's weird. There's something about it.
Then all of a sudden you're like, wait a minute, did he just murder that guy? Like,
yeah,
he's leaving him there to die.
And there's not enough really to kind of make you know or think that that's what's gonna. It just, I don't know. It's either not long enough or it's not soon enough that he turns around. You know, there's something
they had
that's
one
off.
little fight, and their mom got scared and sent them to live with their aunt and uncle in Bel Air.
Yeah, that's what happened.
No, they get in one little fight in a tent, and someone, bring it up, guys, bring it up. They're like, all right, we'll save this for later. And the next scene, they rescue this kid, and the guy leaves the other guy stranded. And so it's a weird choice in the movie where you're like, seriously, after that one little fight, you're going to kill this guy? Like you said, he comes back, and they even make a joke like, I thought that later was now.
I thought you were cashing that in. That's what I'm saying.
We're supposed to get it at that point. They've decided to let it go, and they've bonded.
It's something. It's clunky. It's the clunkiest
just weird.
part of the
awkward,
movie,
and I kind of don't think it should have been in the movie.
Yeah, it's totally the clunky, weird part.
So, but then after that, we of course, they decide that we've got this orphaned kid. He gets to come with us.
Automatically.
He gets to pass. We're saving. We're not going to kill a kid. Not only that, they then up it one more by having the little kid find a pregnant puppy or a pregnant dog.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, you are not leaving that dog behind.
Yeah.
Like, I'm right away like, okay, no, that dog's going.
Yeah.
I don't, and so they're like, oh, we'll let you keep him, which is smart if you think about it, because this is something we didn't mention, but they have loaded this. It isn't just people on this ship. They're bringing animals. They're bringing seeds.
And they literally call it the space ark. So
yeah, it's the space ark. So it is like they're saving livestock, and I gotta believe they're saving like genetic material from other species.
Yeah.
And there's even a cool scene where we see all these people Xeroxing pages of books, and they're trying to do they want to basically a primitive form of
get as much knowledge as they can,
digitizing as much as they can to save it.
Yeah,
and they do a panning shot. Of course, it's like the Bible, the encyclopedia, the art of gardening, all these important. I'm wondering if they included other religious texts, but otherwise, you guys, when you get there, if that's the only religion you're gonna have, it's gonna be weird. But so it's kind of neat. It's got that Book of Eli feel. We're like, yeah, they're saving the books. This is great. And so they do let the kid bring the dog, and it's adorable. And yes, the dog lives, and it even gives birth to puppies, because I guess the launch, they were like, no, get these things out of here, because she just gives birth in the
immediately
mid-flight. So cool. They got puppies on this new planet they land on. Spoiler alert, they make it.
I want to say one thing that I was going to finish there, and because we have to bring it up again. But the neat thing about this is that basically it's like half of a roller coaster track that goes straight up. So the idea is they get the speed going down, and then they go up, and that's what launches them, in towards space. But the cool thing is you can buy. Went down the rabbit hole, and you can buy there's model kits of the Jupiter on a track like that. It's kind of dope. So yeah, it's kind of cool. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
No, that's it. So for those of you worried, the puppies live. Aww. It's for such a doom and gloom movie, it does end on a somewhat positive note. Which honestly, I'm not gonna lie, it really made me want to read the second book, because I kind of want to know what now. Because another thing we should mention is while they never show this, they do mention that rocket ships are being built in other countries. So we do kind of get the feeling that it isn't just these guys landing on the planet.
That maybe there's people of color coming, hopefully.
Sure, I wasn't going to bring that up, but yes. Unfortunately, there's a whole lot of white in this movie that's being saved.
Hopefully that's what that means,
So I like to think that there were several more of these rockets, and it was like some Battlestar Galactica shit, and they got off there and populated this new planet, and that's what I'm wondering if happens in the book. Like, I did not know until researching this movie that there even was a sequel, but I'm really intrigued to read the fucking sequel because I love how that planet looks when they land on it. It looks like an old religious painting.
Yeah, it almost looks like
Yeah, it's so bizarre. Like, at first you think it's like cloth cutouts stuck on another, a cloth back like we had to do in preschool. And but in the weird thing is as because they do a pan shot from their faces out into the landscape they're looking at, and it's this beautiful, like, looks like an album cover for Asia, one of their albums.
Yeah.
Like, it's just because there's fucking it's
the
basically
band,
a prog,
not the continent.
yeah, but it's kind of like a prog rock wet dream because not only is it all like weird and wispy and alien and cloudy looking, but there's also pyramids for no reason, and then other man-made structures
that you're like, whoa, wait a minute here.
Huge sparkling river, and you expect that some dude with like one of those Geddy Lee basses to come out and start singing about the planet. What do they call those double fretboards? I don't know what they call those.
Slap at the bass, mama. Slapping the bass, mama. There you go. Slap at that bass, mama. I slap at that bass.
I don't know.
The double bass. He plays that double bass where he can do both at the same time, and so
but he comes
we
out.
are the priests of when worlds collide. And it's
because this is what it's like when worlds collide. It should
like
be
Rush.
Power Mad.
No, I think Rush dropped the ball, and they should have fucking did a whole concept album about Bellis and when worlds collide.
Yeah,
but they can't.
Well, like
Neil's dead.
Like I'd watch a whole movie about ELO Time, that whole album.
Yeah,
give me that movie.
So,
but yeah, no, it's hot. It's a hot looking planet, and I'll say this: I don't know. I was trying to think if there was anything that was being reused from Destination Moon as far as effect shots, because it is kind of the same looking ship, but yet I would say everything kind of looks like topped off in this movie because and the
it's slick.
So I don't think the crash is because the approach of it cutting through the clouds where behind was clearly like a wall, like, I mean, it's a set, but like a miniature thing, you know what I mean? But the way it comes through the clouds and the way it crashes is actually pretty good, and like the effects they're really decent,
for their time, this movie, it has to be said, even just taking into account for its time, it has some of the best special effects of that era.
And it does try to deliver it at the end. Like we don't just escape it and instantly get to the planet. Like, it's kind of cool. There's a few minutes there where they're starting to wake up and be like, okay, and then because they have to still steer around shit, so it's like, and you're seeing the people in the crew, and at the same time, they do show Earth, like, they insinuate
burning
Earth
up,
burning up. So, after that, and it's funny because I'm getting this out of something that only is 40 seconds of the movie, but I extracted the vibe from it, but it kind of makes me feel a little lost in space for a hot minute there, like,
sure,
because we can start landing on planets, and that, so it has that appeal, like, okay, this is our crew. Again, like, you want to do the sequel, like, it almost is one of those movies that I'll say ends where it's like, okay, here's where open title, let's start now. This is where it begins.
I mean, I'm fine with the ending we get, but
honestly, but it does leave you wanting more.
This movie deserved a sequel. Like, it really did. I wish they had done a follow-up because it really begs for one, because it does play like the first part of a longer movie, and God knows if they made this today, they would have just combined both of them and it'd be 3 hours long, and I would have been, fuck yeah, let's go. But I don't know. I just think the ending, for what it is, though, setting aside some of the weird biblical allusions they throw in, but and there's also the heavy-handed Noah's Ark imagery, and they keep calling back to it. So obviously it was the 50s, so they probably...
Well, they open with a Bible verse and choral music and everything, so right away
it's definitely...
They're showing their cards.
Yeah.
It sounds good when Paul Frees is saying it.
Yeah,
when Paul Frees is saying, like, all that dialogue, like...
Yeah.
It's the best.
So, the only thing this movie... I mean, the only thing they didn't do, and by the time you get to the end, they just should have, and that's one of them should just let a dove out and, hope it brings back an olive branch, because it was so obviously Noah's Ark. It's like, but you may not get that because you weren't raised.
I'm getting the context of it. Yes,
Rick, I really enjoyed this movie too. I remember really enjoying it when I saw it as a younger lad, and throughout the years I've never gone back to it and been disappointed. I may have been... This is probably the most critical viewing of it I did, because at this point I've seen it enough times to, like... Yeah, emotionally I responded to this movie. It's great. It's fun. And that's fine. But I wanted to... I always try to be a little critical, because I don't ever like to... I don't want to over-gush. So I try to be a person that can willingly accept the faults in otherwise great stuff. So... Anyway, just to run down a few things I love it. That I like about it is that weird religious, almost religious. It's almost religious-like newsreel montage in the middle of it with all the papers flying, and they're like in the voiceover is real apocalyptic, and you get it just, and there's all these people praying, and it's just I love that shit. Like anytime they do that in movies, I always, love when they start cutting to the other countries to see what they're doing. And so there's that. As I said, I think the effects in this, while obviously of their time, are absolutely fucking delightful. I love it. And again, the set design is, as we mentioned, those guys are pretty heavy hitters. So it, puppies.
And we haven't even said much about, there's a fair level of destruction of flood footage and all this stuff in the cities and those effect shots, those are actually pretty good.
Yeah, I think there was a bit of stock footage mixed in here and there, but
sure, but
overall, it was very impressive.
It's a lot of good miniature stuff, especially in Blu-ray. It looked amazing. I can't get, and I noticed, strangely enough, noticed it most in the just intimate character scenes, where it's wow, this is crystal clear. The effect shots are always going to be a little fuzzier from back then, so you're not expecting it to be as crystal clear. Yeah, but even those look great in this. My favorite is they have this angle where you see the side of the ship slightly tilted up to the sky, and they cut to it during, somewhat it's almost like an extended montage where they show them building, they show the calendar dates being ripped off, they show the count, how close we're getting, and then every once in a while they just cut to the striking shot of the side of the ship, and above it you see the planet just coming getting bigger, and they do it. The editing is so good because it times it out where you're like, oh damn, it's there, it's just a constant reminder of what we're dealing with. Yeah, they're actually paying attention to the lighting too, because by the time it's the last day, what's kind of sweet is that you're seeing the weird colored of clouds in the sky and shit starting to get weird, and it's starting to look like SETI Alpha 5, orange and glowy clouds and craziness. And it's man, they did a good job of kind of the environment taking over. Okay, yeah, we really got to get out of here,
Yeah.
The coolest part of the movie is, we've had these two, the professor and the guy who had it built and all this, and the jerk, and You know, because even at one point, the guy who, like, is his servant, like, his Smithers, basically tries to, you know, like, no, I'm going to take this last number, and I'm going to survive. Because that's been their big contention, too, where he was right in some of what he was saying, is that, you know, like we had said, he didn't even think about, like, if people were civilized enough, and they were going to do it for the common good. He's, like, naive. That's what we were talking about. Like,
yeah.
And
no, what you're saying is the bad guy wasn't. The bad guy was right sometimes, and because his
he knows human
counterpart was less cynical and more naive.
And why should our lives be decided by a raffle? How do we know the drawing wasn't fixed?
It should have been done by voting.
Let's take the ship away from them.
Hey, Mike!
Gangway, boys.
Here are the guns old man Stanton left.
That's all we need. Let's go.
Grab a gun. Wait, fellas, there's no sense in this. We all agreed to the drawing. Listen to him, listen. You can take the ship, sure. Then what? Only 40 of you can get away. Don't you see? Then the rest of us will get rid of that 40 and the next 40 until we kill each other, or we all get caught when the worlds collide.
Stick around till the collision puts you out of your misery. Come on!
And so, yeah, he's right that people were going to revolt.
Yeah.
We know that from the Noah's Ark story. That goes all the way back there. There were people still trying to climb on board that were like, oh, no, we believe you now. Fuck off. Let us on, you know. And it was like, I can't.
But what's interesting about it is that because at the same time, I think there's a bit of business or news where that professor, it's like the professor who spearheaded this whole thing, doesn't he find out is he ill or he can't? I can't remember.
Okay, basically what happens is this, is that the doctor who's in love with the female scientist and then the pilot who's also in love with the female scientist. This is part of their plot. So one day the pilot, who at this point is like, no, I don't want any special privileges. I'm not going. Give my seat to somebody else. So what happens is they're both sitting there, and the doctor starts saying, well, you know, Professor's cardiogram came back today. He can't go. His heart won't survive it. So we've got an opening now.
That's right, yep.
Oh, look, Dave, you're hedging. Why? We both know who else can handle this flight. Maybe not as good as Fry, but good enough. You haven't any doubts about being able to fly this ship, have you?
No, I can fly her.
Well, there isn't anyone else. Dave, you're our life insurance. If Fry doesn't make it, you'll be able to land the ship.
For months, I've tried to find a legitimate reason to go along. I never could. Maybe things were meant to happen this way.
You diagnose it any way you want. All I know is I feel a lot easier not having to tell Fry the news about himself.
But you get the feeling that, because then all of a sudden at the end, as they're blasting off, when they finally wake up after 0G whatever, he looks at them and he's like, you made that cardiogram story up for me, didn't you?
Oh, that's right.
And he goes, yeah. And at first I didn't get that, but then I realized why. And I'm going to let you continue on with this, but it's because I firmly believe the doctor and the professor plotted that together because the professor knew he wasn't going to go.
No, it's totally the best part of the movie, and it's because, like, the doctor, like, he's the guy in the wheelchair, the asshole is like, push me up, come on, because meanwhile, the camp of people that are there, they're like, fuck this, let's get the guns, because now they're gonna storm, and the professor sees this and he goes,
You were right, Mr. Stanton. You're a better judge of people than I am. Henry on board. Oh, Henry! What are you doing? Stop him! We're the extra fuel they might need, Stanton. The new world isn't for us. It's for the young.
And I thought this was interesting because as it's taking off, he, like, the guy in the wheelchair, because it's a big fuck you moment to him. You know what I mean? It's like, oh shit, he's not letting him on board. You know, he's gonna totally jack him over. It's awesome.
Hence why I said it was probably a plan then, wasn't it?
Yes.
That doctor faked the story about the cardiogram so that the pilot could go with them, because the professor was the only one who could fly the plane other than the pilot. So I'm saying that at that point, I didn't put this 2 and 2 together till the end, but I was like, oh, the doctor knew he wasn't going to make suicide mission. So they made that all up, and it made it even cooler to me when he's like, he just looks at that guy, like you said, he says, you were right, people better than me, and it says something like, that's why we don't belong on this new world.
Yeah.
And it just goes into, like you said, a great fuck you moment where this guy's basically committing suicide in order to keep this really bad element from polluting this new world.
Polluting the new world, and the fact that he's in a wheelchair, so there's that helplessness that guy has for this person, and to have him holding him back like, fuck you ain't going nowhere. You know what I mean? Like,
I genuinely like this movie. I think I'm not going to go so far as to say it's to use my favorite comparison, but I'm not going to say it's one of the pillars on which this decade stands, but I think it deserves its place in the next tier. Like, this is one of the good ones. It may not be one of the best ones, but it is one of the good ones.
Yes,
and I can't see anybody not enjoying it if they are in the right frame of mind. Obviously, compared to modern disaster films like this, it's maybe a little slow moving and clunky, but it's entertaining as hell. And like you said, even the stuff that I normally turn my nose up at, like the love triangles and stuff, it didn't bother me this time. It works, and especially the payoff at the end. It's like, okay,
yeah,
it wasn't in there for no reason. It was just, it's a good payoff.
It actually served as a plot device to move the story at times.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say.
So it actually makes sense,
Yeah. It served the story rather than the story having to serve it.
Yeah,
being shoehorned
it wasn't
in
shoved
there,
in. It was made realistic, that it had merit of why it was happening. And it does all this in like a remarkable 90 minutes or so. You know what I mean? It's like 83 minutes. It really gives a lot for its runtime.
Yeah, and I think, just kind of going back now, because I do want to talk about the director, just kind of going back, is you can tell this crew behind the scenes knows what they're doing. They know that within their budget, they know how to make things look cool. They know how to edit for tension. They know how to keep the story beats from going on too long. They're great at building the tension at the end, and so I think this is all handled very well. And I think that might be to do with the fact that the director Rudolph Mattei, he actually comes from a cinematography background. Now, he's directed several films, this one obviously being one of them. His most famous film is DOA, and I don't know if you've ever seen DOA with Edmund O'Brien, but it's like the classic film noir.
Yeah.
Like Crank is basically what DOA was doing back in 1949.
Yeah.
Guys got 9 hours to find out who poisoned him.
Murdered him. Yeah.
And it's great. It's one of those movies when you go back and watch it, you're like, I get why this did what it did. Even if the movie now seems like cliche, well, that's because you've seen this movie in so many other movies. So as director, that's probably the one he's most well known for, but it's his cinematography credits, which I think explains why this movie is as visually striking as it is he started out as a assistant cinematographer on a lot of Carl Theodor Dreyer's silent films, and then ended up shooting some of them. And one of them's called The Passion of Joan of Arc. The other one's called Vampire. and both are gorgeous. And then, if you want good examples of silent films, those are just, I guess it's just knowing he shot those. I'm like, oh, okay, wow. But then he moves into other movies like The Lady from Shanghai, Foreign Correspondent, which is like one of my top 5 favorite Hitchcock films. He did Dodsworth. He did The Pride of the Yankees, Sahara. Like, he's shot some very, very interesting movies, and he's more well known for being a cinematographer. But I guess my point was I think it shows in his directing on this movie, at least, because he at least knows how to make the movie look good and let everybody else shine.
Yeah, because it's all played really well. Everyone's performance seems like there was attention to every moment of the movie. It's one of those, like, when someone comes along and it's like someone who's really good makes one. It's like, oh, I think it all works really well.
And that's it. And that's, I just think he knew how to tell the story in a real visual way. And that's kind of why when I realized, well, he started out in silent film, it's like,
so he knows how to,
especially in Germany at that time, those are some of the most beautiful silent films ever made. Like, they knew what they were doing. And so I was like, it just was really cool to me that he, that was kind of his history with the craft, and then looking at him as a director. Yeah, because he's already
kind of an older man at this point now, directing this movie. He's probably in his like 60s or something.
He died in 1964, so this would have been towards the end of his life. And I don't know what he
only lived to be 68, so he did pass a little young, but still. Or 66, sorry.
But Rudolph Mattei, he's interesting fella, at least from a cinematography standpoint, because I honestly, other than DOA, I haven't really seen any of his other movies, so what I've seen of his I like, so it's just, when you look at his directing credits, they're a lot of lower budget B movies, so I'm like, oh, seems like they might have had more faith in this guy and given him some bigger movies like after this one, but I don't know.
Yeah.
So, anywho, I think this movie should be viewed by all fans of this era, all science fiction fans in general, and I am glad I got to watch it again, and I am glad it came at the end of 1951, because what better way...
Topped off the year.
Yeah, what better way to go out than with the end of the world.
Exactly.
And 1952 can be a rebirth.
I did want to say a couple things about people in the movie. It's one of those movies that has a very memorable or recognizable cast, because a lot of the bit players, like one of the doctors is actually the doctor that they go to get help with the bum with the blob on his hand in the movie The Blob that comes out a few years after this.
Who's that?
And that was what?
Nothing.
What are you laughing at?
It's funny. I figured you would have had the actor's name first, be like, and the guy that go to.
Well, I would have gotten to it.
Bullshit or not?
His name is Stephen Chase. He played Dr. George Fry. Okay, just give a guy a chance to get to his notes, for Christ's sake. Anyway, and the first doctor who finds out about all this, who sends the note with Richard Gere, is played by Hayden Rourke, who every television fan knows as the lovable straight man Dr. Bellows on I Dream of Jeannie. Just want to say that. And a bunch of other people are pretty, recognizable too.
Great story. Compelling and rich.
So, this has got to win at least the special effects awards at the Oscars, right? In fact, I'm pretty sure I know there's clips out there. I've seen clips. So,
well, Rick, what I will tell you is this.
Yes.
This did get nominated for an Oscar for Best Cinematography, Color.
Oh, sweet.
Which they did not win. And then, yes, they also won the Oscar for Best Special Effects. So this is an Oscar-winning film. So
have we had that yet?
That tells you, yes, because we are. Yeah, wasn't there one that won?
Probably nominations or something. Yeah, probably Destination Moon or something. Yeah, I don't know.
I thought it was something. I could be wrong, but it may be right. Because I just may be the loot. Okay. But that's all the awards it was to receive or to win or be nominated for. Nothing
Not
else.
even in other countries? Really? Like no Saturn awards? No.
Well, those aren't
or
necessarily
no
other countries, but no, there's no
Flim Flam award, no Positronic Net award. I don't know.
Sweet fucking Christ, would you knock it off?
No. However, this does have a couple of interesting bits of trivia that we'll get to right now that people might be interested in. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Did you know it's one of the first? Did you know it's one of the many films referenced in the opening theme of both the stage musical and film version of the Rocky Horror Picture Show?
But when worlds collide, said George Powell to his bride, I'm gonna give you some terrible thrill.
But this is the one I was gonna say is, in its own way, an award. Okay? And that is, in the film Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan.
Yes.
There are two cargo containers that can be seen, and they are labeled Bellis and Zira, and they're in the Genesis cave.
Yep. It's amazing.
So yeah, you got that. It's pretty cool. The movie was also featured in LA Confidential. They're actually it's a scene where they're going to they're going to the premiere of it, and naturally, the most esteemed honor that this film carries,
I know what it
besides
is.
that Oscar, is that it's the title of a single by the band Power Man 5000.
Now this is what it's like when worlds collide. You ready to go? Got some ready to go. What you gonna
By Rob Zombie's brother Spider. Because this is what it's like when worlds collide. Everybody knows that song too.
I hate
Because if you say that, someone's gonna go, you ready to go? You ready to go?
Yeah. Nah, wasn't a fan. But
it's all right. But you know what? It's a heavy metal song about the movie When Worlds Collide.
Is it, or is that just the title? Have you read the lyric? Like, is it about?
No.
Okay,
but
so
it was
because this says it's just the title.
Dragula doesn't mention the monsters, but we know what it's about with Rob Zombie. So,
right.
I think we know this is about Worlds Collide.
Bullshit? Or not?
Maybe it's all from the inside of the mind of the douche.
Yeah,
jerk.
the douche
Jerk. Guy.
Right.
John Hoyt.
LaBouche.
Maybe in his mind, it's like, whatever happened to this guy order? What it's like when worlds collide. That's what's going on in his head.
Lord.
That's why he's so pissed. That's why he's angry.
Because he's got that song in the Stained version of, the Disturbed version of Sound of Silence constantly on rotation in his head. That, I would seriously I would sell out my own family and country if that was the torture they used on me. To make me listen to that on a loop.
Oh, it's horrible.
Both those songs.
I don't like it.
But anyway, here's the last bit of trivia before we get into.
My old friend, I come to talk with you again. Shut up!
Because as Rick mentioned before,
no.
we were going to discuss this. Deep Impact, which came out in 1998, directed by Mimi Leder, produced through DreamWorks Pictures. I think it was their third or fourth they had released.
Because it wasn't The Peacemaker
the
first, right? And that was her movie too, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was her movie, The Peacemaker, and then I remember they did Mouse Hunt, and then I think there was one other
Mouse
one.
Hunt.
But
Mouse
anyway,
Hunt's brilliant.
DreamWorks did not have a very auspicious start. They actually didn't start winning until Saving Private Ryan. So the first few movies that came out were
movies.
They didn't quite hit.
You said movie. What?
I know.
I said movie.
So,
what? I said movie. Yes,
Deep
I knew that.
Impact originated. Okay, the film Deep Impact originated as a combination remake adaptation of When Worlds Collide and Arthur C. Clarke's novel The Hammer of God, which is a great book. I've read it. It deals with a giant meteor named Kali that is slowly headed towards Earth, and it's basically Armageddon, Deep Impact. It's all these movies, but it's Arthur C. Clarke, so it's science nerd wonderful, and it's a great book, and I totally would dig a movie version of that. So that's what they wanted to do, was they wanted to remake When Worlds Collide, but throw in the meteor thing. And but neither of those things worked out. Okay, that is not what we ended up getting. So at first they tasked screenwriter Bruce Joel Rubin to adapt When Worlds Collide and Hammer of the God into a new movie. Okay, although it did eventually go through a few other writers, because I guess at first Spielberg planned to direct this but couldn't, so they handed it off to Mimi Leder. She had notes, and they basically just did not, what Bruce Joel Rubin turned in was not what they were looking for. Now, interesting thing about Bruce Joel Rubin is he was like the biggest deal for a hot minute in the early 90s, because he became known for his sort of spiritually mystical type screenplays. For Jacob's Ladder, he did Ghost, and then he did My Life with Michael Keaton and Nicole Kidman. Tearjerker that I had to watch with my mom on Christmas Day one time at the theater. Blowing her. I'm like, why did you want to come see this on Christmas? Whatever. So he was that guy that they thought could bring a little bit of the spiritual aspect to this movie rather than make it all about the explosions and shit.
The disaster, yeah.
Yeah, which he's an interesting screenwriter. I think he kind of dropped off after My Life. I don't really remember him having too many big hits after that, because I happen to be a huge fan of Jacob's Ladder, and so I just remember, I think that's one of the best screenplays ever written, so I just have a fondness for that. But he also wrote Brainstorm, Deadly Friend, Sleeping with the Enemy, and then it looks like
which kind of became an archetype movie of its own. Sleeping with the Enemy, it seemed like that was the first in the run of those kinds of movies.
Now, some of these he did, there are other writers credited on them, and in some of them he's uncredited. So I think he kind of hit what he cared about most with Ghost and Jacob's Ladder, because it was those man dealing with the afterlife and trying to tie up the loose ends in his life so he can let go of his demons and move on. They have a lot of similar themes. One's just a horror movie, and the other one's a romantic fantasy. But you can see what his obsessions are. He's into the metaphysical, and so I think I'm kind of curious what Deep Impact would have been like with a more of that kind of tone to it, because I'm not a fan of Deep Impact. Yeah, I actually saw it for the first time like about a year ago, and I didn't hate it. I didn't hate it at all, but I don't think it's very good either.
I think it starts out better than it ends up. I mean, there's a point where it's pretty good at first, and then there's certain things that are just a little ridiculous in it. But it's like, because we kind of get into this plot line with Elijah Wood and Leela Sobieski, and then
Minnie Hunt.
They're like, are they like 14 and they get married? They get married.
I don't know.
And it's just, it's fine, whatever. But it's like, you don't really care about it. And the thing about Deep Impact is what something that's interesting about it is, of course, Morgan Freeman plays the president, and it's like one of 4 movies that he's been the president in.
Isn't there a joke about if you see a black president, you know there's probably an asteroid on the way?
Yeah, an asteroid coming, because just like, isn't that how? Who's the president in 2112 or 2012? What is it? The one
2012.
2012, yeah. With
I
John
don't know.
Cusack.
It might actually be Morgan Freeman. I don't remember.
No, it's Danny Glover.
Oh yeah, it's Danny Glover.
Or is he the president? And when?
Hold on.
The day after, I can't remember. You know, they get a lot from that. You know, there's this whole arc about kind of the lead character of the movie is Téa Leoni. And she's like this intern who all of a sudden gets the biggest story of history, you know?
Yeah.
And becomes the anchor woman. And we're kind of supposed to care about her life with her awesome parents, played by Maximilian Schell. And I think is it Judy Greer, or it's not Judy Greer.
Yeah, Danny Glover is the president. And they have a black president in Idiocracy, Deep Impact, The Fifth Element.
Oh yeah, her parents are Maximilian Schell and Vanessa Redgrave, and so she's got a lot of scenes with them. I guess we kind of care about mostly because it's so good to watch just Maximilian Schell do anything, because he's still bringing it, you know, even in this bit part. But Téa Leoni herself is like, I kept thinking of this as like, because she's now the face of this whole tragedy and the anchor woman, she's the most flattest anchor woman ever. Like,
yeah,
she's not interesting at all.
She's not exciting.
Like, she does not seem like she seems miscast. She seems miscast big time.
She does. I agree.
But, you know, the mission of astronauts going out to save us is led by Robert Duvall, so it's got that going for it, and it's got some good stuff. It's an okay movie, although at the end, when the comet does hit in the tidal wave,
that's pretty dope. It's nice.
It's
That's
cool,
good.
But it also makes me feel like all you had to do is run up the side of the hills near you, because that's all Elijah Wood does and his girlfriend. You get to the top of a big hill, it's like, so why didn't everyone just start going up the hills? You know, it's kind of funny. But we would get more ludicrous disaster in future movies like 2012 and stuff like that.
Well, that's what I was going to talk about. Like, when it comes to because that was one of those years, because remember that one year there was Volcano and Dante's Peak, and then there was the year where there was Deep Impact and Armageddon. They're pretty much identical movies, but I'm not going to lie, to this day, I'm still going to defend Armageddon, because it is so... I mean, if you want over-the-top, brain not needed nonsense, you can't go wrong
I've
with
never
Armageddon.
Maybe I've seen it once all the way through. I never cared, but maybe it's time I go back to Armageddon.
Oh, it's not. I'm not saying it's great. It's just,
I know.
It's got if you just look at it as like, well, what do you want? Because it's
going to be
a giant
what I
asteroid
want from a movie
movie
like that. Yeah.
It's like, what is it you want? Like,
and especially if I like Dante's Peak and everything else. Like, it's weird like, that's the one I'm staying away from.
Yeah,
I've stayed away from all these years.
It's just another disaster movie, and it just doesn't ever let up, and it's no less hokier than fucking Airport 2 or whatever that one. I mean, they're just...
Well, I get it.
The more ridiculous they are, sometimes the better.
So how many stars? Let's get down to the issue here.
I am going to give When Worlds Collide 3.5 stars. I do not think it's quite a 4-star movie, because I do think there are a few clunky things about it, and just some datedness of it that I think kind of mars it a little bit. But 3.5 is still pretty good. Like I'm saying, it's still in the conversation about the good ones. Yes. You're not going to go wrong with this movie. It's just, I almost wish it had been longer. But so no, I'm comfortable with saying 3.5 stars.
Well, honestly, in my mind, I thought about it before you said it. So, but I'm giving it 4.
Okay.
But solid 4.
All right.
It's not great, but it's very good.
Good. It's really good. It's just
really good.
Great.
It's like a $40 steakhouse as opposed to an $80 steakhouse, but it's still a $40 steakhouse. It's not Steak and Shake where they're trying to convince you you're having a steak of some sort, but
fuck
no.
Steak and Shake.
No, it's not a steak, but this is a good. This is not Ponderosa either. I would say this is a darn good Mr. Sheldy's.
Wow. Okay. You heard it here first, folks. You heard it. You heard it. You heard it. That's what you heard, is what you just heard.
What the hell did you just say?
So, Rick, guess what?
Yeah. What?
This doesn't happen very often on this podcast. But this one's actually got a really good rating. First of all, I'll tell you the audience score. And this is out of 2,500 plus ratings. Okay? Not bad. It's got a 63%. So that's good. Especially
like
a movie this old.
It's a D-.
No, not as far as that
it is.
many ratings and how long ago it is. But let's not worry about the audience rating.
Okay.
Because critic rating, based on 27 reviews, 81%.
Give me a hell yeah!
That sounds right.
Yeah. So this might be one of the... I would imagine, I haven't checked, but I would imagine Day the Earth Stood Still and The Thing have got to be up there too, as far as these movies go. So it does show you that we're not the only ones. This is rather liked and critically acclaimed.
It's a classic. It's a classic title.
Yeah.
There's a Spookadicka Billy Spider Rob Zombie song. It's got pedigree.
Yeah, so it's pretty good. But yes, as I did mention, we mentioned early on, there is a sequel called After Worlds Collide. It's a book, but it does follow this one up. Like, it's a direct sequel. So George Pal did want to make that movie. However, due to the fact that his film Conquest of Space was a box office failure in 1955, and because producer Burgess Meredith had declining health at the time. So I guess Burgess Meredith was going to be in it, or was producing it.
And this is when?
This is around 1955. So basically what it comes down to
Burgess
is...
Meredith hung on for a good 40 years after that.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. All I'm saying is Paramount said, no, fuck it.
Yeah.
They got pissed off at him and Burgess Meredith and said it's not happening. So, unfortunately, we don't get to see where...
So he was producing it. That's wild.
This goes.
And it's got to be like an angel on your shoulder, see? And if you ever get hurt and you feel that you're going down, this little angel is going to whisper in your ear. He's going to say, "Get up, you son of a bitch! Because Mickey loves you."
Yeah, I think I mentioned this before too, but When Worlds Collide is available on physical media on Blu-ray from Paramount. It's gorgeous. It's attractive. It's intelligent. It's everything you want out of a Blu-ray. I would recommend it. And, of course, it is streaming, Rick. So if anyone wants to stream this movie, you can do that on Prime Video, MGM Plus, Fubo, Paramount TV, and Pluto TV. You can also rent it at Amazon, Apple TV, Fandango at home, Google Play, and YouTube. Both rent and buy on all of those I just listed. So guess what? This movie's not hard to find, and there's gorgeous transfers of it out there. So do yourself a favor if you haven't seen it before and track this one down. And it's a great way to close out 1951 on a bang. Literally, And so, Rick, are you ready?
Yeah.
To head into 1952?
Are you kidding?
What's his name? Herman Munster Motorcade, birthday party Cheetos, pogo sticks and lemonade, you symbiotic stupid jerks, that's right, Flanders, I am talking about you!
How'd you get REM to play in your garage?
I told them it was a benefit. They think they're saving the rainforest! Sucker!